y'all, welcome back to the Briles Bunch, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Courtney. Today is another what's for dinner video, but I'm really excited about this one because I will be sharing our family's top 5 favorite meals, or at least like the top 5 that I haven't made recently and the first ones that popped into our head that we absolutely love. So not only am I going to be sharing 5 of our meals, but there's also going to be several sides. I think just about every single meal that I've made had 1 or 2 sides with it that I'm sharing too that are our favorite sides. And a couple of those are going to be perfect for spring and summer, I think, which really anytime, like we've had it any time of the year, but I think especially for spring and summer they would be good. I'm making all kinds of food in here. We've got pasta salad, we've got some meatloaf cups. I mean, literally all of our favorites are in this video. Well, not all of them. I could probably honestly do this video a couple times over before I got through like all of our absolutely favorite meals, because you know, we're constantly trying new meals for the What's for Dinner videos. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you're not already for What's for Dinner videos. I also do grocery hauls, that sort of thing, you know, food related stuff. So I would love to have you guys subscribe if you're not already, but let's go ahead and get into cooking. First up, we've got some Big Mac Tater Tot Casserole. This one is one of Travis's favorites. We actually all love this one, but Travis especially wanted this one to be in this video. So this night I made a double batch because my brother and his family was coming over. So I have 2 pounds of ground beef. We've got some Thousand Island dressing, some pickles. I use bread and butter, but use whatever kind you want. An onion, some mayo, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, lettuce for topping, Fiesta blend cheese, and a bag of tater tots, frozen tater tots. So like I said, normally when I make this, I make it half size, so in an 8x8 pan, but since I'm doubling it, I cooked it in a 9x13 pan. First, I started by chopping up all of my pickles and onion. The pickles, I did a cup of those, and then the onion, I just chopped up the whole small onion. So normally I would do half. I will have all of the recipes, whether it's from me or a link that I found them from, in the description box below so that you can have a quick reference for that. So I sprayed my 9x13 pan, and then in a bowl, after I drained out my meat, I put all of the onions and pickles and added 1/4 cup of mayo, a cup of the Thousand Island dressing. We've got a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, then I did a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. After I got all of that mixed together, I dumped it into my 9x13 pan. I also had the oven already preheating to 400 because that's what you want to cook it on. So I just spread it out and then sprinkled out 2 cups, give or take a little bit, I didn't really measure it, of shredded cheese. I mixed together the Fiesta blend with some sharp cheddar that I had to get to use up as well. So after that, you just want to top it all with your tater tots. Then stick it in the oven on 400 for about 40-ish minutes. You just want to make sure the tater tots are nice and golden brown like this. It comes out bubbly and looking amazing, and also tastes amazing. But then I top it with some shredded lettuce and just kind of drizzle a little bit more of that Thousand Island dressing. And like I said, this was for our family and my brother's family. We did have a couple sides with it too. Like I'll show you the pasta salad here in just a minute, how I make that. But this fed all of us with leftovers, so that was pretty awesome, and we all loved it. It's a crowd pleaser for sure. Next up is my go-to pasta salad that I make every time I make it, just about. I do try out some new ways sometimes, but I've got a box of rotini noodles that I've rinsed and drained with cold water. I did half a can of corn. We've got some cut up cucumbers, red peppers, red onion, and then I do some, you know, the ranch packet dip. That's how I make it. And then you just want to sprinkle it all in there. Not sprinkle, just dump it all into the bowl. So I use only about half a can of the corn and then about half of a red onion. Just kind of mix it all together and see if I need to add some more. I only had 1 cucumber. I think I probably could have done more. Feel free to add any other veggies that you like to. But then I just use how much ever I think of ranch. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. So I just pour it in as I go. Mix it all together really good. And then I sprinkle a good amount of garlic powder in it. Stir it up some more, and at the end is when I add parmesan cheese. I don't like to add it in the beginning. I don't know why. I just feel like it gets overly mixed in, I guess, but I do probably 1/4 a cup to 1/2 a cup for this. This makes a ton though, and you will have leftovers. Usually when it's just for our family, I half that as well, so we don't have way too much. The next recipe I'm sharing is our family's go-to breakfast for supper meal, and the kids even love it, so you know it's good, and there's not many ingredients. We've got some sausage, 2 tubes of the crescent dough sheet. You can use regular crescent rolls too, you just have to pinch them together, an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and some sharp cheddar cheese. So first, all I do is cook up the sausage. Y'all, this is so simple, and while that's cooking, I like to go ahead and stick one of the sheets of dough into the oven just to kind of like pre-bake it a little bit, and I just take it out when it's time to put the rest of it in there. But once the sausage is cooked, I've already had my cream cheese sitting out softening, but you cut it up into chunks and add it into your sausage. And here, I don't know what I was thinking, but I went ahead and added the sharp cheddar cheese to it too, and I shouldn't have. I usually just add that on top, but honestly, I didn't tell a difference and it was still fine. So I don't know, do whichever you want, but normally I save that until the end. Just mix up everything really good until it's combined, then take out your dough, sprinkle your sausage mixture on there. You do want to drain the sausage too, by the way, or else it would be really greasy. Spread that out on there really well, and this is normally when I would add some cheese, so I did add a little bit anyway, just for extra measure, I guess, but normally that would just be 1 cup of cheese on top, and then put your second dough sheet right on top of that. Then you'll stick it back in the oven on 375 for about 10 to 12 minutes until it's starting to get a little bit golden brown, and then just cut it up and serve it. We had this with some scrambled eggs and strawberries on the side, but like I said, this is so yummy. It's creamy, such good flavor, like our favorite breakfast meal that we love to make for supper. This next recipe is one of my absolute favorites. It's cornbread salad, and I love to have it with anything. No special occasion, I will have it with any, like it literally goes with anything. So I cook up a box of Jiffy cornbread mix. I did this the night before, that's why they're in a Ziploc bag. And then I have a 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese, and normally I would cook that with the cornbread, like mix it into the batter, but I literally never remember. So I mean, it just turns out the same anyway, in my opinion. And then I've got a cup of mayo. We've got some garlic salt, chopped up cucumber, red pepper, and onion. Some other good options to add into the cornbread salad would be some cherry tomatoes, or sliced crumbled bacon is really good in it too. My mom actually makes it like that, but we just kind of prefer it without it. But so moving on to how you make it, I crumble up the cornbread into pieces. You don't want to over crumble it, because then it's just, you know, just real crumbly. And so I add the cheese. Then I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, the whole cup of mayo. Then you just want to add in all of your veggies and mix them all together. You don't want to over mix this, just gently mix it enough until it's combined. But here it will be in all of its yumminess. It is so good. You want to stick it in the refrigerator to chill. It's best served cold, but it's delicious. This next side is one of our absolute favorites. If you've been around for a while, you've seen me make it many times. It's smothered green beans, and for this I use 1 can of the Allen's Italian green beans. Drain them and stick them in a 8x8 pan. I've got several slices of bacon. I use the ready cooked bacon in the microwave just because it's fast and quick and it still tastes really good. We've got some soy sauce, garlic powder, melted butter, and some brown sugar. All you do for this is mix up a little sauce. So I've got like 3 tablespoons of butter, then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a little less than 2 tablespoons. I've got a teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Mix all of that up really well, and then just pour it right on top of your green beans. And with the bacon, I crumble it on there too before I actually pour the mixture, because I like to get that soaked too. The bacon in it has such good flavor with that sauce on it. After you get all of that poured all over it and mixed together pretty good, I stick it in the oven on 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes. I have had to take it out sooner than that before, and they still taste delicious, but y'all, these do not get better than this. This is my favorite way to have green beans. So to go along with the two sides that I just shared, we had some crispy chicken sandwiches. And y'all, if you try any recipe out of this video, it needs to be this one. This is our kind of creation that we've came up with, and it is amazing. So we do some brioche buns, again with the ready cooked bacon. Feel free to cook your own bacon, but we like easy way outs. I've got some white cheddar cheese, a couple of onions, breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, garlic powder, paprika, and then the normal stuff to dip your chicken in, like the flour, and a couple eggs as well. We also really like this secret sauce, the Great Value secret sauce. It's really good on the chicken sandwiches and burgers too. But for this one, we've also obviously got chicken. We got a couple of chicken breasts that we cut in half, and then Travis is just beating them with a meat mallet until they flatten a little bit. To season the chicken in a bowl, I've got a cup of the Italian breadcrumbs with some paprika, garlic powder, salt, and pepper, and I just kind of do those to taste. I didn't really measure them out. As I was mixing all of that together, we decided to add a little bit of sugar as well to add some sweetness to the chicken, and I'm really glad we did. It tastes so good with that added into it. Just a little ingredient goes quite a ways in the flavor. But then I cut up my onion. Well, Travis actually cut it into halves, like rings, and then halves of the rings, because we were going to cook them up and just kind of caramelize them a little bit, I guess that's what you'd call it, in a pan with some butter and oil until they look like this. So good. We love having these on burgers or the chicken sandwich especially. So for the chicken, we've got our chicken cut up, and we're going to dip it in the flour, egg, and then the breadcrumb mixture. You want to let that egg just kind of drip off until it drips before putting into the bread or the breadcrumb mixture. But then we set it to the side, and we actually cook this in our deep fryer, but normally, this was the first time that we did it in the deep fryer. Normally we would just cook it on the stove with some oil until it reached 350 degrees, and that works amazing as well. But we wanted to try it out in the deep fryer. But if you don't have one, do not shy away from this recipe. I've made a version of these before, like the first time we ever made them, and I'll try to link that video down below too, so you can see how we did it in the oil if you'd rather. But this is how they came out in the deep fryer. Went ahead and put some cheese on it, and then Travis moved to the grill to do the buns.
Yep, so you just butter the grill, butter it up, and put the buns on.
Once again, you don't have to be as extra as we were to do the buns like that. Last time we did it, I did it in the toaster, and they still turned out good with some butter on them afterwards. But to assemble this, we did some of that secret sauce on the bun. Seriously, try this stuff out. It's really good. Then had the bacon on top of that, and then the grilled onions, or caramelized, whatever you want to call them, on top of that. And there you have the most amazing chicken sandwich. It's so good. And we had the green beans and the cornbread salad on the side. This was such a good meal. This next recipe is going to be for meatloaf cups. We really like meatloaf, but I enjoy doing them in a meatloaf cup. I think it makes it more kid friendly, which I enjoy them better this way too, and Grant likes them this way. So I've got a pound of ground beef. I do have a stalk of celery here, and I'll explain that in a minute. We've got some breadcrumbs, some milk, Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, an egg, onion, and garlic powder. And that's what I like to put in mine. That's about it. And then we top it with, the regular ketchup mixture. But in meatloaf, I really like to add some veggies, and I hide them. I just dice them up really finely. So that's what I do with the celery. I normally do carrots, but I didn't have any. So for the topping, I do ketchup, mustard, and brown sugar, and that is it. I'm using my little Pampered Chef manual food processor to cut up my celery really finely. It didn't take too long to do that. That's the first time I've done something as hard as celery in it, and I was kind of surprised. It just hit into our meatloaf pretty well. I do like an added crunch though, so for the onions I didn't dice them up as finely. Travis would probably prefer that I did, but I like having a little crunch in there. And so I did the onion in that manual food processor as well. Then just mix everything together. I only used about half of that celery mixture though. So I do the egg in there, mix up my ground beef. Add in my celery and onion mixture. Well, not really a mixture, just the cut up onion and celery. Add in a cup of breadcrumbs, a cup of milk. I do Worcestershire sauce to taste. I really think Worcestershire sauce adds a really good flavor to meatloaf. And then I add in some salt and pepper to taste as well. I don't measure that out either. And then the same goes for garlic powder, which we really like the garlic powder flavor too. So I go a little generous on that. But feel free to add the kind of seasonings that you think you would like, the amount that you think you would like as well. Then I mixed it together using this little what are those things called? Meat chopper, meat breaker upper thing. Spray my muffin tins, and then I use a cookie scoop to add in all of the meat, and I kind of just press it down with the opposite side of it. Once I get them all into the cups, I stick it in the oven on 350 for about 10 minutes, then pull it out and put my mixture on top of it and finish letting it cook. So for that mixture on top, it's just a half a cup of ketchup, and then 3 tablespoons of brown sugar and 3 tablespoons of mustard all mixed together. Then I spread it on top of each of those cups and stick it back in the oven for another, like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, just until you get the internal temperature of the meat where you want it or where it needs to be. A while back, I discovered a way of making mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot that I absolutely love, and I can't buy instant potatoes like I probably can still, but after figuring this out, I don't want to make them any other way. So I just use a pack of the Honey Gold potatoes, some salt and pepper, butter, some garlic cloves, cream cheese, and chicken broth. The garlic's totally optional. We just like the garlic potatoes better. So for this, I just stick in my potatoes with about half a cup to 2/3 cup of that chicken broth, and then your 3 cloves of garlic that has the peel off of it, but you don't have to mince it or anything. And I'll also go ahead and add in my salt and pepper. I did half a teaspoon of pepper and a little less than a teaspoon of salt. I closed the Instant Pot, made sure it was sealing, and set it to 12 minutes. And once it was done with the 12 minutes, that's when I go ahead and stick my whole block of cream cheese, I don't cut it up or anything, in there, and my stick of butter. Put the lid on it. I don't seal it or anything. I just sit it on top of it for about 5 minutes, and that gets it nice and melty. And then you just use your potato masher to mash it all together, and that is it. The homemade potatoes have not gotten any easier than that. This is what we had: mashed potatoes with peas and the Meatloaf Cups. Such a favorite meal. This last meal is one of my favorites. I crave this from time to time and need to make it, like, it's so good. We've got a pound, I about said a pound. This is just a package of smoked sausage, some half and half mozzarella cheese, crushed red pepper, which is optional, salt, minced garlic, any kind of pasta. We use the rigatoni, and then some olive oil. First, I got the noodles cooking, then I cut my sausage into slices. Then I get a tablespoon of oil heated up and add my sausage into the pan. I kind of try to keep it all on one side, but that's almost impossible with this much sausage. But just cook them up to your liking on both sides. I know it doesn't take long, but I kind of like mine a little more brown. Made sure my noodles were cooking good, stir them around a good bit, and then when my sausage is done, I like to sit those on a paper towel to kind of get some of the excess oil off of them. And while those are sitting on the paper towel, I go ahead and cook up my garlic for just 1 minute. You don't want to overcook it, before adding in my half and half. I used a cup and a half of the half and half. That's a lot of halves there. Then you just want to keep stirring it and bring it to a boil. It doesn't take very long. Once it's to a boil, add in a cup of the mozzarella cheese and then stir that in really good. And then you can go ahead and add back in your sausage and your pasta after you've drained it. Mix it all together, and that is it. In my separate bowl, that's when I go ahead and add a little bit of the red pepper flakes. I think it adds some really good flavor to it, but obviously I'm not going to do that for the kids. I just put theirs in a bowl separately away from ours. But mine I just mix together with some of that red pepper, and it turns out so good. Like I said, this is one of my favorites, which obviously all of these recipes in this video are family favorites, but this one especially is my personal favorite out of our family. That's going to be it for all of the meals in this video. I hope that it provides you with some new meal inspiration, or maybe some ideas for sides, or possibly you just wanted to see what our family's favorite meals were. Whatever it is, I'm glad you're here and that you're watching. I would also really love to know some of y'all's favorite meals. I would like to try them out actually, and I thought it would be really fun to do a video trying out your guys' meals, so we can kind of, you know, make it a two-way street a little bit. I like to get into new ideas and try new recipes as well, and then we can share them with everybody else in this little YouTube community. I think that would be awesome. So if you want to leave me a recipe for me to pick a few out to try in a video coming up soon, then go ahead and leave a comment down below with that recipe, or you can email me at thebrilesbunch@gmail.com, or on Instagram. DM me over there too at the Briles Bunch. But yeah, I think that's it, all I got to say for the rest of this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. But I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye y'all.